Good morning, everybody. We're going to talk about beverages today. What should you think about? What should you not think about? There was a post this morning from a friend of mine in Springfield. He used a certain, I always hate to use a brand name, but used a certain soda pop, very popular, to clean off her windshield from a film that she had gotten, a film that had gotten on the windshield uh, when she had her car detailed, I believe, or her car washed. And she was having trouble seeing, so it's been raining in south and central Missouri for a couple of days, supposed to rain most of the week. And she was having trouble seeing, so a woman at a convenience store told her, put this particular soft drink on your windshield and it will clean that film off, and it worked. So, kind of interesting that she put that up today because the topic today is beverages, healthy and non-healthy ones. So really, we're still talking about how to lose weight. And the first thing you need to do is get rid of sugar or added sugar beverages, any soda, fruit juices. I mean, the sugar sweetened beverage is one of the leading sources of added sugar in the diet. And I told you earlier last week that added sugar needs to go away. And I'm not saying that never should you have dessert or piece of pie or cake or sugar, but it does not need to be in your diet or put in your mouth every day. And so a lot of people will contact me about losing weight, and we'll go through things, quite a few things, and we'll check labs, functional medicine labs, etc. We'll go through dietary modification, and then they don't lose weight, and I find out that they're drinking diet soda pop. Well, diet soda pop's actually worse. Or diet soda pop, sody pop, my dad called it, St. Louis, sody pop. And that particular phrase is used for every brand. Like in Oklahoma, I saw a meme last week that said, do you want a Coke? Waitress asking a person in a restaurant, do you want Coke? And the person said yes, and she said, what kind? And he said, Dr. Pepper. That's pretty classic Oklahoma. Every soda in Oklahoma is a Coke. But then you have to ask which type of soda that you want. So, added sugars in diet from drinking the things that most people drink every day. So that includes all soda pop, sugar-sweetened teas, fruit juice, fruit punch, vitamin waters. A lot of those have sugar sweeteners in there. Smoothies, shakes, lemonades, chocolate or flavored milk, iced coffee drinks, and then energy drinks. And energy drinks have their own special increased risk to your health because of what's in them and the caffeine content that's in them. Okay, so also hot drinks, cafe mocha, sweetened coffee, sweetened tea, hot chocolate, macchiato, a lot of trendy alcoholic drinks, lots of sugar in those. That includes hard lemonade, flavored wine coolers, cider beers, and then one of my favorite, Bailey's Irish Cream on the rocks, lots of sugar. Also like White Russians, lots of sugar. Flavored wine coolers, margaritas, daiquiris, pina coladas, dessert wines, iced wines, sweet sherries, and liqueurs. And then artificially sweetened drinks, and this is from a Norwegian study a few years ago on a significant number of people. I can't remember the exact number, but 50,000 some or more, where artificially sweetened drinks are actually worse than their regular added table sugar counterparts. And of course, a lot of the sugar in most of the sodas and fruit punches and fruit drinks is high fructose corn syrup. It's not even cane sugar or beet sugar. Okay, that study in Norway showed that drinking more than one diet soda per month raised your risk of death by 40%. So more than one a month raised your risk of dying from whatever by 40%. So what do you got left? Well, you got water. Everybody knows that. Most of your body's made up of water. And so water is probably the healthiest drink or beverage that you can have, or sparkling water. A lot of people who do intermittent fasting will put salt in their water. They'll put salt in their coffee to keep their electrolyte balance up while they're not eating. And some of these people are doing extended fasts for weight loss. You can maintain your weight with intermittent fasting, which is what you do anyway. You should be. One of the biggest problems we have in this country is that we eat all the time, 6 to 10 times a day. And back in the 60s, 3 meals a day, no snacks, just what your mother said. You're as old as me, or your grandmother. Okay, so what else we got? Coffee. So legend has it that coffee was discovered in Ethiopia by a goat herd that noticed that his goats were extra frisky after eating the red fruit of a coffee tree. And he reported that to a local monastery. The monks turned the fruits into a brewed drink to help them stay awake during long hours of prayer. And from those beginnings, coffee would spread through Arab traders to Europe and then to America. And it is one of the most used beverages, other than the soda pops, throughout the world for brewing and drinking methods. So just basically coffee. It has a high caffeine content, about 70 milligrams of caffeine per cup. And so some people think it's an unhealthy habit, but recent research has come to the opposite conclusion. It's a major source of antioxidants. It's a rich source of magnesium and lignans, which are suggested to benefit lots of areas of human health. It seems to have a protective role against type 2 diabetes. So a 2009 review, each additional daily cup of coffee lowered the risk of diabetes by 7%, even up to 6 cups a day. So the European Prospective Investigation into Cancer and Nutrition, the EPIC study, or sub-study of that, estimated that 3 cups of tea or coffee daily reduced the risk of diabetes by 42%. In Singapore, 30% reduction in risk of diabetes for more than 4 cups of coffee a day. And this is even true in decaffeinated coffees. So most of the benefit is not caffeine, it's from the antioxidants that are in the coffee bean. It also tends to reduce your risk of death. So from the AARP diet, an analysis in 2012 found total mortality reduced by 10 to 15% in those drinking 6 cups of coffee per day, which I don't think I do 6 a day, but here I am. This is the second, but it's huge. It's a big cup of coffee. And then the Nurses' Health Study that we have referenced before, the Health Professionals Follow-Up Study, that's 2 different studies on health professionals and nurses, found that most major causes of death, including heart disease, were reduced with coffee intake. Coffee may reduce neurologic disease such as Parkinsonism, liver cirrhosis, liver cancer, and Alzheimer's dementia. So, what kind of coffee? We'll talk about that with additions. There is a variety of coffees that are on the market that claim health benefits. And I'm not sure that the organic nomenclature on any food really means anything. It's been hype. And when we get into that book that I talked to you about, fake foods, or real foods, fake foods, we'll discuss that in more detail. So you want to keep your coffee airtight, away from moisture, heat, and light. And flavor is lost pretty quickly if you grind it, so a reliable grinder is worthwhile. And you should probably grind it right before you brew it. Okay, on hot days, you can ice your coffee. It's a simple and inexpensive beverage. Okay, and you just brew a pot of coffee and put it in the refrigerator overnight. That's one way of doing it. You can add cinnamon, coconut oil, vanilla extract, almond extract, and cream. And that does not change the health benefits of coffee. avoid sugar, because that turns it into soda pop, or sweeteners. And I do confess, I do like saccharine sweet and low in my coffee, but I do use half and half or heavy whipping cream. And we'll talk about additives here in a minute. Tea. So tea. So the Emperor of China discovered tea in 2737 BC. He had been enjoying a cup of boiled water when leaves from a nearby tree blew into his drink and the water changed color. The emperor sipped the brew and was surprised by the pleasant taste, and for centuries afterward, royalty enjoyed tea for its medicinal and religious purposes. And then tea spread to Japan in the 6th century, where green tea would be developed and popularized. Tea reached the English shores in the 17th century, where it became a popular drink, tea and crumpets, in the aristocratic class. So after water, tea is the most popular beverage in the world. Several different basic tea varieties. Black tea is the most common. About 75% of global consumption of tea is black tea. And my friend at Derailed Coffee Bar and Cafe has one a specialty on her menu called hibiscus tea. So it's black tea with hibiscus in it. It's amazing. It is sweet. So if you like sweet tea, it's a way to naturally sweeten your tea. So black tea with hibiscus in it. Okay. So harvested leaves are fully fermented, giving it the characteristic black color of black tea. It's higher in caffeine. Oolong tea is semi-fermented, meaning that it undergoes a shorter period of fermentation. Green tea is a non-fermented tea, and the freshly harvested leaves immediately undergo a streaming process to stop fermentation, and it gives it a more delicate and floral taste. So it's much less caffeinated than coffee, green tea. So it's ideal for people that are sensitive to stimulants. Okay, so a lot of the benefits of green tea, and you've heard green tea for weight loss, for health benefits. There's a lot of powerful antioxidants in green tea, and they're called catechins. There's one that has a chemical name I'm not going to repeat because you won't remember it. But the catechins, when they're fermented, they're changed into theaflavins, and that makes green tea a richer source than black or oolong teas for those catechins. Okay, so the benefits of theaflavins are a little bit different than just green tea, but the antioxidant potential of green tea and black tea are comparable. And then polyphenols in the tea are also believed to boost metabolism, which aids in fat burning. So when you put green tea with one of my skinny shots, my mini skinny shots or super skinny shots, or even the HCG fat burning way of weight loss, green tea is kind of a mainstay on all those. Okay, so lots of health benefits associated with green tea consumption. So increased fat oxidation during exercise, increased resting energy expenditure, lower risk of certain types of cancer. So there's been a meta-analysis of studies confirming that green tea helps with weight loss. It's rather modest, so you have to do more than just green tea. You can't live on green tea, but there's more to the story. And green tea aids in people that are going through weight loss regimens. So the catecholamine or the catechins may play a role in inhibiting carbohydrate digestive enzymes, and from that lowering blood sugar levels. And then they protect the pancreatic beta cell. So from the Singapore study, drinking more than 1 cup of black tea per day reduced the risk of diabetes by 14%. Other studies have showed a reduction in 18%, 3 to 4 cups of tea a day. So you can drink tea as hot or cold beverages, infinite varieties of tea available to suit any taste, and they have all kinds of different teas for specific health benefits. And then you can flavor your tea. You can add lemon peel, zest, orange peel, cinnamon, vanilla pods, mint, and ginger. Just like adding turmeric to your coffee and the other cinnamon, etc. We'll talk about that in a minute. So herbal teas are infusions of herbs and spices and other plant matter into hot water. They make great drinks, no added sugars, enjoy hot or cold. They're not true teas, they don't contain tea leaves, but the varieties of herbal teas are endless. So mint, chamomile, ginger, lavender, lemon balm, hibiscus, rosehip teas. Hibiscus at derail, amazing as a cold tea. And then adding spices and cinnamon changes or enhances the flavor of the tea. Okay, a mainstay for people that are hungry while they're trying to fast in their eating window of, let's say, 6 hours, or people that eat once a day, one meal a day, is bone broth. So coffee with heavy whipping cream, allowed. Sweeteners, no. Water with salt in it, or salt in the coffee, yes. And then bone broth. If somebody is really hungry, and remember, most hunger is thirst. These people will use bone broth. I shouted out to Laura Prepon. If I destroyed her name, I apologize. The young lady from that 70s show, and then Orange is the New Black. She is kind of a culinary person, and she has a bone broth recipe that I found in People magazine that's amazing. It takes 15 hours. I made it. I made a chicken bone broth. She has a beef bone broth, but just bone broth. All kinds of vegetables in there, and you just strain it. You simmer it for 15 hours, and then there's so much stuff in that bone broth that's so good for you. And you can take the chicken out and do a chicken thing, whatever you want. Okay, so there's all kinds of delicious ways of doing bone broth. So you simmer animal bones with vegetables, herbs, and spices. And like I said, Laura Prepon's. And it took me a while to find that after I found it in People magazine, but you can find, if you Google Laura Prepon's bone broth recipe, you can find it. The simmering time for her is 15 hours. Some simmering times are 4 hours. Some are as long as 48 hours. And that releases all the minerals, gelatin, and nutrients from bones. And then you add a little bit of vinegar during cooking, and that helps leach some of the stored materials and minerals out of the bones. Okay? So they're very high in amino acids such as proline, arginine, and glycine, as well as minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. You can get animal bones with that. I usually buy a whole chicken, and I will simmer it with celery and carrots, whatever else I can throw in there, season it, etc. And at the end of 15 hours, I've got a fully cooked whole chicken that I can use for whatever else I want. But if you don't want to do that, you can get bones from an ethnic grocery store, or even just talk to the butcher people at your grocery store, and they will probably set them aside for you. They're fairly inexpensive. They're convenient. You don't have to prep them. You throw them in water. I usually use better than bouillon, either chicken or beef, which is an amazing product if you haven't used it. It's amazing, amazing. You can make large batches. You can freeze it. And then once you cool it, it may congeal, kind of like a Jell-O, due to the high gelatin content. So the ones that you buy on the grocery store shelf have nothing in common with homemade bone broth. Make your own. So prepackaged bone broths rely on artificial flavors, MSG, etc. And so a lot of the minerals that you're after are not present in commercial bone broth. So just make your own. It's simple. You set it on low. You have to trust your stove, of course, and you do it overnight. So I put one on at 8 p.m. I take it off at noon, 1 the next day, and just drink it. You can just drink it. Okay, so what about coffee? What can you do to make coffee really healthy? It's one of the most popular beverages in the world. Lots of health professionals agree that coffee is one of the healthiest drinks other than water or sparkling water. And it may be the single best source of antioxidants in the diet for some people. And coffee actually outranks fruits and vegetables combined for antioxidant properties. So, if you are first of all, this is 8 little things to make coffee healthy. Don't drink caffeine after 2 p.m. if you are sensitive to stimulants. It's one of the most natural, rich sources of caffeine in the diet. It's a stimulant, gives you a bit of energy, helps you stay awake when you feel tired, but it can interfere with sleep. And of course, in my shining protocol, S is sleep. That's the first thing I'm after. I am a person that is not significantly altered by stimulants. So up until I was probably 50 something, I'm 60 now. The last thing I would drink during the day would be a midnight cup of coffee, and then I would lay down and go to sleep. Okay, what you don't want to do, number 2, is load your coffee with sugar. So you can turn it into a harmful beverage by adding sugar or even sweeteners. So that's one of the worst ingredients in the modern standard American diet is added sugar, especially the fructose content, and even worse is the high fructose corn syrup. So if you cannot live without a sweetener in your coffee, use stevia. Dr. Fung believes even the sight and taste in your mouth of something sweet will trigger an insulin response. But if you need that sweet taste, stevia is probably the best way to do it. Choose a quality brand. The one I've been looking at is called Mud Water, supposedly organic, and again, that's one of those terms. But that one has added antioxidants in it, including turmeric. It's not cheap, but I'll research that more on you. Maybe we'll do a class on different healthy coffees later. I'm assuming that the mass-produced coffees are maybe not quite as healthy as some of the more expensive varieties. So you gotta remember, coffee beans can be sprayed with synthetic pesticides and other chemicals. So if you believe in the organic label, I'm not sure I do. Theoretically, you're avoiding chemicals and pesticides. Okay, avoid drinking too much. Well, I just told you that up to 6 cups a day is actually healthy for you. Okay, so in general, from Canada, they recommend not exceeding 1.1 milligram per pound of body weight per day. So they're saying an average cup of coffee around 95 milligrams of caffeine. So that recommendation is about 2 cups of coffee per day for somebody weighing 176 pounds or 80 kilograms. So they also say in Canada that even much higher amounts of caffeine, so 400 to 600 milligrams per day, 4 to 6 cups, are not associated with any adverse side effects in most people. Okay, one of the ways to flavor your coffee, if you don't want to use a sweetener like stevia, remember, don't use the fake sugar, don't use real sugar. So cinnamon. And then there is a combination drink that I used to recommend to people, which had turmeric, lemon juice, hot water, and cinnamon in it. A little bit of lemon juice, hot water, turmeric, and cinnamon, which apparently has some outstanding health qualities. So that's one option other than coffee. So cinnamon actually lowers blood sugars, cholesterol, triglycerides, and diabetics. So add a dash of cinnamon to your coffee to give it some flavor. And the idea is to use, I'm going to say this wrong, there's cassia cinnamon, and then there's Ceylon, Ceylon cinnamon, which apparently has less potential for side effects. Okay, you want to avoid low-fat and artificial creamers. If you want to make a creamer, and I've done this, you just get half and half and put some vanilla in it, and you get a French vanilla creamer that's all natural, right? And there are little, I've seen quite a few different recipes for making your own natural creamers instead of using artificial and low-fat creamers. Remember, whole milk, half and half. Dr. Fung says heavy whipping cream, and coffee is actually healthier. And we talked about milk about a month ago. Whole milk So, not a whole lot of health research on non-dairy creamers, but non-dairy creamers are not natural creamers. They're fake. So, grass-fed cow's milk contains vitamin K, which helps with your bone health. Dairy is an excellent calcium source and may reduce the risk of osteoporosis and bone fractures. So instead of a non-dairy creamer, add some full-fat cream to your coffee from grass-fed cows. Easy to find. Another little flavorful thing for coffee is to add a little cocoa, because cocoa is high in antioxidants. I told you that dark chocolate is actually good for you. Milk chocolate, not so much. But cocoa reduces heart disease risk. So a little dash of cocoa powder in your coffee for some flavor. Okay, cafe mocha is that way, but most coffee houses, those drinks are usually sugar sweetened as well. So you just make your own at home and skip the sugar. One way of brewing your coffee that supposedly is more healthy is to brew it with a paper filter. I use a Keurig. And so brewed coffee contains cafestol, and that's a diterpene that can raise cholesterol levels in the blood if that worries you. Cholesterol for me does not. I see all kinds of people talking about their cholesterol on social media where their doctors are trying to talk them into taking all those nasty statins and ignoring some fairly simple dietary measures that you can do that will elevate your HDL protective cholesterol taxi. So brewing coffee with a paper filter lowers the amount of cafestol that lets the caffeine and the antioxidants through the paper filter. But then cafestol has been studied in animal models, and it's been shown to have an anti-diabetic effect. Okay, so that's basically a little quick 27-minute class on things that you can drink. And if you like alcohol, when people are trying to lose weight, they ask about alcohol. Well, wine, alcohol is converted to sugar, but organic vodka, and the one that seems to work the best is Reign vodka. I've recommended Reign vodka for about 10 years for people that want to drink while they're doing a weight loss regimen. So that one, if you want an alcoholic-based beverage, use organic alcohol, and Reign seems to be the one that is brought up the most. So I've recommended Reign vodka for a long time. Okay, so that's a real quickie on beverages. I may do a class on different healthy coffees. I talked about tea. We talked about bone broth. Make your own. It's so simple. It just takes 15 hours, but it's so simple. Very, very simple. So, hey Shelly, I will talk to you tomorrow. We still got our shot supplements on sale for skinny shots, mini skinny shots. I've got Hercules, Lothario on sale, B12. Laura, honey is actually sugar laden, but it's natural sugar. So that is the one natural sugar. And actually, if you want to help your seasonal allergies, buy sugar from a farmer's market that's made local to the area you live in. It literally works. I'm waiting for my honey lady. That sounded funny. I'm waiting for my honey producers, bees, to make enough honey so I can get some locally grown honey. And 1 teaspoon a day pretty much shuts my seasonal allergies down. I spend every morning right now with the sniffles and this and that and the other thing. So honey in your coffee, especially if it's local, one, it will help your seasonal allergies. Plus, it's a natural sugar. It is sugar. It's basically sugar, but it's natural sugar. So if you're going to pick a sugar, make sure it's a natural one. So Shelly's saying that still creates a glucose response, which is true. It's a natural sugar. So anything sweet, all you got to do is look at food, and Dr. Fung says your insulin will shoot up. You'll get an insulin trigger just from looking or the aroma of food. You can put sweet stuff in your mouth and spit it out. You're still going to get an insulin response. But it is a natural sugar. It will raise your glucose level. But remember, if you're low carb, carb, that's 100 grams of carbohydrate, less than 100 grams of carbohydrate a day. If you're keto, you want to be under 20 grams of carbohydrate a day. So that would probably fit 1 teaspoon of honey. I haven't looked that up, but I'll let you know. Okay, so I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. It's raining in Missouri. Everything's greening up. I'll put up some pictures of what I've planted. I took all the pictures and then I had to put them up. So I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. See you. Bye.